Hello everyone, my name is Pratyush and I am a part of the Makhtar Ghosh Armenian-Russian International University. I take this opportunity to share my views with you, to guide you all on the topic why is Armenia better than other countries to pursue MBBS from. Now, when we talk about MBBS, the first comes to our mind is which country should we choose from? Or when we talk about MBBS abroad specifically, one thing that comes to our mind is which country should we choose from because there are n number of options. Students generally get confused. What should they go for? What should they not? What are the important things that they should keep in mind? So why does this need arise? Why do students from India need to go abroad? So first, there are not enough medical seats in India. There are roughly 20 lakh applicants every year who wish to pursue MBBS in India. But unfortunately, due to the lack of seats, they aren't able to do so. So there are roughly around 1.5 lakh medical seats in India. So the rest, 19.5 lakh students, they end up either waiting for another attempt for NEET or they choose to pursue MBBS abroad. Now, I am here to tell you about why is Armenia better than other countries to pursue MBBS from. And since there are various medical universities in Armenia, I'm going to be focusing on one of the best universities, that is the Makitar Ghosh Armenian-Russian International University, which has been a pioneer in medical education in Armenia. We have been producing capable and the best and the worthiest of doctors in Armenia for the past few years. So, beginning with the first point, the cost of education and living. So, here we are gonna compare the cost of MBBS in Armenia and how much a student can expect to spend while he chooses to go for MBBS abroad. So, here in MBBS abroad, we have taken an average, since we are not talking about any particular country, we have taken an average of the cost of MBBS in USA, UK, India, as well as Russia. So, first things first, the tuition fee. That's the main thing that parents and most of the students are worried about. Well, in Armenia, the best thing is that the tuition fee starts from just rupees 3 lakh per annum. Yes, that's right. 16 to 18 lakh rupees for the entire 6-year MBBS program in Armenia. And if we compare it to MBBS abroad, parents can expect to, spend a hefty amount of 7 lakh to 10 lakh INR per annum. The second thing that we're going to compare is other accommodation expenses. So obviously, a student would be going to a particularly a new country. So whereas, however, in Armenia, the thing is that accommodation expenses are generally managed by the universities. Several universities have their own hostels. For example, the hostel at Makitar Ghosh Armenian Russian University. The accommodation expenses over here in our hostels are just 85,000 INR per annum. That means in less than a lakh rupees, you get an accommodation for the entire year. While when we compare it to countries like USA, UK, India, and Russia, students can again expect to share at least twice or thrice the amount they're spending in Armenia, around 2 lakh to 4 lakh per annum. That is quite a hefty amount compared to Armenia. This makes this is another reason why Armenia is being chosen by many students. Many students who earlier used to go to Ukraine or Russia are now preferring Armenia because Armenia has been coming up as one of the top destinations for MBBS abroad. Coming next to the food expenses. The food expenses, so we have a mess here at the Makitar Goshen International University, and also various other universities in Armenia do have their own messes, and students can expect to get good quality food, uh, 3 meals a day at just 1,50,000 per annum. That is an amount in which not even in India you can get 3 meals a day for 365 days a year. So compared to the food expenses in the US, the UK, India, and Russia, you can expect to shed 3 lakh to 4.5 lakhs per annum. Again, traveling expenses, Armenia is quite cheap in that term as well. There are a lot of modes of public transport, and a student can expect to shed just 50,000 per month for traveling because students mostly study and all they have to travel, they get the time during their Sundays or week offs whenever the college is not working or during their vacations. So since the transport is not much expensive, students can expect to shed around 50,000 naira per annum. Speaking next about the cost of traveling in the US, UK, India, and Russia, student can expect to shed around 1 lakh to 3 lakh per annum. So you see, this difference is all about a country, and the difference is you can see here the total expenses. If you choose to pursue MBBS in Armenia, your average cost, the maximum cost that you might occur, is going to be 6 lakh rupees per annum. So this is very, very, very affordable when compared to the cost of education and living in abroad while pursuing MBBS abroad, which can go as high as 13 lakh to 21 lakh 50,000 per annum. So that is roughly 3 to 4 times of what you would be paying if you were to study MBBS in Armenia. Second point, which is also one of the most important and the best parts of studying in Armenia, the eligibility. Armenia does not have any excessive and unwanted eligibility criteria. So over here also, I would be talking about the Makhitar Ghosh Armenian-Russian International University. Qualifying NEET is mandatory, and the same goes for MBBS abroad. So this is mandatory because students generally come back to India. So if you come back to India and you apply for FMGE, so you must have given NEET. So that is why qualifying NEET is mandatory, even if you pursue MBBS in Armenia or abroad. The second point is higher secondary. 50% marks is mandatory for both MBBS in Armenia as well as in abroad. Now, here comes the best part. There are no entrance tests, no language tests. You just clear your NEET and you will get MBBS and admission for MBBS in Armenia. While if you go for MBBS abroad, there are various admission tests that students might have to give, like the IMAT, which is for Italy, the UCAT for UK, and the MCAT exam, which is for the United States. Even apart from that, the percentage, the minimum required percentage from for higher secondary in MBBS abroad, it varies from 50% to 75%. So we also see a great difference over here. Now, another major thing for MBBS abroad is some countries, they do need students to give language proficiency tests like IELTS and TOEFL, which often adds on, additional burden on the students to give more and more exams. Now, here's the best part of pursuing MBBS in the Makidar Ghosh Armenian-Russian International University. Since the seats are limited for international students in Armenia, students also have an option to reserve their seat, their MBBS seat at MGARIU, by providing just their higher secondary passing certificate along with their passport or any local, Indian identification card. So this is the best thing that attracts a lot of students. A lot of students, even before their NEET results come out, the students, those who know that they might have to take another year's drop or they might not score well, they generally reserve their seats, and most of the students do this. Coming next, let's talk about the admission process in Armenia versus other countries. So it's very simple. You see, in Armenia, if you want to pursue MBBS in Armenia, you need not worry about anything. The process, the entire thing, the visa applications, the admission process, it's very streamlined. It's very easy. So talking about the application submission in Armenia, the application process, the admission process is direct via the university portal or the authorized representatives like Rus Education and others that are associated with ARIU. In other countries, however, there are central agencies or there are university-specific systems, and they take a lot of time. They are quite complex, and students have to submit a lot of documents. There are a whole lot of procedures that just extends the time of the application process. It just extends the application process by many days and weeks sometimes. Talking about the required documents that might be required for admission process at MGARIU. See, again, very simple, just your mark sheets for 10th and 12th standards, your passport, photos, as well as your NEET result. In other countries, these basic documents are necessary, but they may be required to be notarized and translated if the country that you want to pursue MBBS in does not know much of the English. Coming to the admission letters in Mahidar Goshermin Indian University are generally issued within the first 5 to 10 working days of your application. However, so see, there is also a lot of difference over here. If you do the same in any other country, you might expect that your admission letter might be delivered to you or sent to you within 2 to 4 weeks. And this duration can be might longer. Sometimes it's even 2 to 2.5 to 3 months for various countries and universities. Coming next are the visa requirements. Again, even the visa requirements for Armenia are quite simple since Armenia and India, they share very deep-rooted cultural ties. So the visa type is that you'll get in Armenia is the student visa if you wish to pursue MBBS. And this student visa, the best part is it's stamped on arrival or in the embassy. While in other countries, the student visas, they might require you to visit the embassy. There might be interviews process, which might be, you know, mentally challenging, long to take. They might reject you. So that just adds on the wastage of time. Again, the visa processing time for Armenia, it's arrive on arrival, and at max it takes just 7 to 14 days, while the visa processing time for other countries is minimum of 2 weeks, and it can go as high as 8 weeks to 10 weeks. Visa interview, again, not required for Armenia, and it is required in countries like USA, UK, Canada, and Germany, basically the countries that have strict immigration laws. Coming next, let's talk about the medium of study in Armenia. So the language of instruction, the medium of instruction in Armenia is 100% English. All the courses in the Makitar Ghosh Armenian-Russian University are taught in English, while in other countries, they might be in English, they might be in the regional language, or it can be, bilingual or just the native language. Talking about the language exams, if you need any, no. In Armenia, most of the population speaks English. All the medium of instruction is in English. Therefore, students, they feel no difficulties either in study or in communicating with the locals. There are many students in Armenia who speak English, and the locals also speak in English. So there are literally no language barriers that a student from India or any other country for that matter would feel. Someone who knows English can stay in Armenia very easily, and they would not face any problems, at least in communicating with the locals or your peers or your professors for that matter. While in other countries, you might require to give language proficiency tests, as I just mentioned before, IELTS and TOEFL, which are the most favoredly accepted language proficiency tests. Next, the most important part where most of the students, they tend to miss out on what's the documentation procedure, what are the documents that are required. So the basic documents that are required for MBBS in Armenia or MGARIU is your 10th and 12 mark sheets. It is required in Armenia, and the same goes for MBBS abroad. NEET scorecard, again, clearing NEET is mandatory for MBBS in Armenia. It is also mandatory for MBBS abroad, while some countries would also require you to get a good rank to get admission. So it's not that if you can clear your NEET, you can get MBBS abroad anywhere. Some countries, they require students to get more than 600 or 500 or 550 marks in NEET, which most of the students do not get. Again, for a passport, we require originals plus the copies. For MBBS abroad, students might require to give original along with the notarized copies and along with translation in some countries. Talking about the admission letter from university. So provided the admission letters are provided by MGRIU within the first few days of your application. Once it's approved, you might expect to receive the admission letter within just 4 to 5 working days. Talking about MBBS in other countries, students have to wait for a bit longer, generally 2 to 4 weeks. But in some conditions, as I told you previously, it might require 4 weeks or 6 or even 8 weeks for that matter. Medical fitness certificate, it is important for you to be medically fit to study MBBS either in Armenia or in other countries. Although the best part here is a simple local format is accepted, while if you go to pursue MBBS in other countries, you might have to, get a proper medical fitness certificate authorized and stamped by a local authority or a district level authority from a government hospital. Again, HIV test report and birth certificates. So HIV test report, it is mandatory, and even a basic lab accepted format is accepted, while in MBBS in other countries, you are required to submit the report from authorized labs only. Birth certificate is not at all mandatory for Armenia, while in other countries like Ukraine, Philippines, and Russia, students are required to provide the birth certificate as well. Again, PCC, which is the police clearance certificate, this is just a character certificate from the police that the person so and so is not indulged in any criminal or civil matters in India. This is mostly done for countries like USA, UK, Australia, Canada, and most of the European countries as well. However, in Armenia, there is no such requirement. For financial documents and bank statements, you must know many countries they require students to attach their bank statements so that the universities can make sure that the student is able to afford or not. While in Armenia, fees is not at all a problem. Financial statements or bank statements are not required or not requested from students at any point in time. No language proficiency tests are required in Armenia, and you are required to give language proficiency tests for countries like UK, US, Australia, Canada, and various European countries as well. The visa application process, again, it's very simple and embassy-based or on-arrival visa students can get them very easily. While in US, UK, Germany, Russia, students might have to give embassy-based interviews, which generally take a long time to be processed. As far as travel and health insurance is concerned, we do not want that any student, God forbid, if something happens to them, they should not have a feeling that there's an extra expenditure incurred on them. So we recommend a basic insurance. A basic insurance is fine from our end at Makitar Ghosh Armenian International University. We recommend that you do get a travel and health insurance so that in any bad times you are insured and you do not have to worry about arranging funds for any mishap that happens. While in MBBS abroad, most of the European and Western countries they do require you to get a proper travel and health insurance and they do check if it's validated or not. Coming next, this is something that most of the students are worried about, the recognition and career opportunities. Because definitely, if you are investing 6 years of your life, if you are working for 6 years of your life, you're studying, you're giving in the best time of your life to a particular course, you expect that your work is recognized globally and you do get ample of career opportunities to prove your worth. So talking about the global recognition, when you pursue MBBS in Armenia, all the degrees that are provided to you by the Makitar Ghosh Armenian-Russian international universities, they are approved and recognized by the World Health Organization, the National Medical Council of India, the ECFMG, the FIMR, and the WFME. Same as MBBS in other countries, most countries, universities in most of the countries, they are also approved by WHO, NMC, and ECFMG accreditation. Talking about internship opportunities, MGARIU has several affiliated hospitals, and we do provide assistance to students to complete their internship. While in other countries, students have to work on their own to get an internship, or sometimes they do not even get a chance, so they have to come back to India and then apply for internship. FMGE and next clearance support. So next, which is the national exit exam, which would be replacing FMGE from the next year probably. So we at MGARIU, we do provide FMGE master classes for students so that when they give FMGE, they pass with flying colors. And MGARIU, I would like to tell you, MGARIU has the best record in Armenia for graduates clearing FMGE. Coming to MBBS in other countries, there is limited support when it comes to FMGE. Some institutes in various countries do offer additional courses, but they charge a hefty fees for that. It may range from 3 lakh to 5 lakh INR for FMGE course in other countries. Coming to USALMLE or PLAB or other entrance exams that students might wish to give, students can prepare for these courses. We do have special guidance that is available for USMLE, PLAB, and other exams. And similarly, in MBBS abroad, some countries offer preparation. Few of them have USMLE and PLAB focused curriculum. Coming back to post-graduation, if you pursue your MBBS in Armenia, the best part is you are eligible to pursue your PG in India, Armenia, Europe, USA, UK, probably, anywhere in the world you can go and you can pursue your post-graduation, your PG, just by showing your degree of MBBS from the Makitar Ghosh Armenian-Russian University. While in some countries, post-graduation, your MBBS degree does get you post-graduation opportunities, while some countries, MBBS degree does not. Coming to job opportunities, if you pursue your MBBS in Armenia from the Makitar Ghosh Armenian Russian University, You get good prospects not only in Albania, but also in India, Middle East after completing your FMGE exam. By the way, Armenian doctors, Armenian nationals are in much demand in the Middle East and all of the oil producing countries. Similar opportunities are available in other countries as well. However, the competition might be higher than what it is in Armenia. So that was basically all about MBBS in Armenia versus MBBS abroad. If students have any doubts, please do let me know. Please let me know in the comment sections if you have any doubts. I'll try my level best to solve them for you. No questions. Everyone seems quite understanding of the topic. All right. With this note, let's end today's webinar. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I wish you a good day ahead, and let's connect with another insightful webinar.